All right. So you sent over a whole bunch of videos all about AI and Agile and the future of work.
Hmm.
Seems like something you're really interested in. And honestly, it's a pretty hot topic these days, right? I mean, who isn't thinking about this stuff?
Right.
What really struck us going through all this material
Yeah.
is it's not just about, like plugging in some fancy AI tech and
Right.
poof, magically everything's better.
Exactly.
It seems like it's really more about
Yeah.
like a fundamental shift in how we think about work itself.
Yeah, I agree.
And we found some really interesting stuff here
Hmm.
about why trying to force an agile framework onto the wrong type of work
Yeah,
can actually totally backfire.
for sure.
And also how AI could maybe even help us create a more sustainable
Right.
and human-centered way of working.
I think that's a really important point, and it's something that a lot of people are overlooking.
Yeah. And then there's this other idea that we found,
Mm.
which is so fascinating,
Yeah.
about how different management styles
Oh, yeah.
can actually kind of predict which companies are going to really nail AI adoption and which ones are going to, and well, let's just say they're going to have a lot to learn.
Yeah, they're going to have some growing pains for sure.
So are you ready to kind of dive into all this?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Okay, great.
I think it's really interesting how much buzz there is around Agile these days.
Yeah. For sure.
But these videos highlight
Yeah.
a lot of people are missing the real point of it.
Yeah, it's like one of the videos even called it fake agile,
Oh, yeah.
where it's like you're going through the motions,
Yes.
but you're not really embracing the core values
Right.
and the principles.
Exactly.
And that can be really dangerous,
It can be, yeah.
especially when you're trying to work with AI.
Especially with AI, yeah, because AI is all about speed and adaptability, constant learning.
Yeah,
And if your company is stuck in that fake agile mode
right.
with all these rigid processes and fear of failure,
Yeah.
they're going to have a really hard time keeping up.
It's like trying to fit a square peg in a round hole.
Exactly.
It's just not going to work.
One of the videos even had this great analogy
Oh, yeah.
about a cargo cult.
Oh, wow.
Like those islanders who built those fake airstrips?
Oh, right. Yeah.
After seeing planes land during World War II?
Yeah. Yeah.
They thought if they just mimicked the actions,
Right.
then the cargo would come back.
Yeah. But it's not about the rituals. It's about understanding
Exactly.
the underlying principles.
The why behind it all.
Yeah. So are we kind of doing the same thing with work?
I think in a lot of cases we are, yeah.
Are we just mimicking these agile practices
Right.
without really getting why they exist
Yeah.
or how they can benefit us?
I think that's a really big problem.
Yeah.
And it can actually be really demotivating for teams.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Imagine you're an engineer,
Right.
you love to code,
Right.
and suddenly you're being forced to spend more time writing user stories
Right.
than actually coding.
Yeah, I can see how that would be frustrating.
You'd be pretty frustrated, right?
Totally.
And that frustration can kind of ripple through the whole organization.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's definitely something to be aware of.
So how do we escape that trap?
Well,
How do we get out of that fake agile and get to the real deal?
yeah, well, I think it starts with honesty,
Yeah.
really asking your teams,
Hmm.
is this actually making your work better?
Right.
Are you delivering value to customers faster?
Hmm.
Are you able to adapt to changes quickly?
Those are good questions.
And if the answer is no,
Mm.
then it's time to shift the focus from process obsession to outcomes.
That makes sense, but it also sounds like a pretty big cultural shift.
It is a big cultural shift,
Right,
and
yeah.
that's where leadership really comes in.
Right.
Leaders need to empower their teams to make decisions
Mm.
and create an environment where experimentation and learning are encouraged,
Yeah.
not punished.
So it's less about dictating every move
Right.
and more about creating a space
Exactly.
where teams can actually thrive.
Yes.
Okay.
And that actually leads us to another important point that came up in these videos.
Okay.
This idea that more work doesn't actually equal more progress.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, one of the videos even called it the productivity lie.
The productivity lie. Wow.
Yeah, we get so caught up in checking off our to-do lists.
Right.
But are we actually delivering value to customers?
That's a really good question.
Or we're just staying busy.
Yeah. Because it's easy to kind of fall into that trap, right?
It is, yeah.
You feel like you're accomplishing something just by getting through your tasks.
Yeah.
But are those tasks actually moving the needle?
Right. And in the age of AI,
Mm-hmm.
it's not about how busy teams are. It's
Okay.
about how quickly customers can benefit from their work.
So how do we make sure we're focused on the right things?
Yeah, that's the key question, right?
Yeah. Did these videos have any practical advice on that?
They did, actually. Yeah, one of the videos highlighted this really simple,
Okay.
a powerful concept called the rule of three.
Okay. I like the sound of that already.
Yeah.
Simple and powerful.
It's about focusing on just 3 key priorities at a time.
Okay.
And it's especially relevant when you're dealing with AI work.
Because it can get so complex, right?
It can be incredibly complex, yeah.
Yeah, like you're juggling all these data sets and algorithms.
Exactly.
It's easy to get overwhelmed.
Right. And the rule of 3 kind of forces you to prioritize and focus on what really matters.
So how does all of this tie into actually working with AI, though?
Yeah.
Like, is Agile even the right approach when AI is taking on more and more tasks?
That's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
Because AI isn't meant to replace Agile.
Okay.
It's meant to supercharge it.
Okay, so they can work together.
They can absolutely work together.
Interesting.
Think of it this way.
Okay.
Agile provides the framework, and AI provides the tools to accelerate the process.
Okay.
So, for example, AI can help with things like analyzing feedback,
Right.
speeding up testing, revealing hidden patterns in customer data,
Yeah.
ultimately helping teams deliver value faster and more effectively.
So it's not an either-or situation.
Right.
It's about finding that synergy
Exactly.
between human intelligence and artificial intelligence.
Yeah, that's the sweet spot where the magic really happens.
But wouldn't that require a pretty big shift
It would, yeah.
in how companies are managed?
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And this is where things get really mind-blowing.
Okay.
One of the videos suggested that these classic management theories, like Theory X, Theory Y, and Theory Z,
Right.
can actually predict a company's ability to adapt to AI.
Okay, now I'm really intrigued. Remind me again what those theories are all about.
Yeah, so Theory X is all about command and control.
Okay.
Leaders make all the decisions. Employees follow orders.
Right.
No room for creativity or autonomy.
So it's like the old school top-down approach.
Exactly.
Okay.
Theory Y is a bit more progressive. It recognizes that employees are motivated by things like personal growth and making a meaningful contribution.
So Theory Y is more about empowering individuals.
Exactly.
Okay, got it.
And then there's Theory Z, which kind of blends Western and Eastern management ideas,
Interesting.
focusing on long-term growth,
Okay.
a strong company culture, and treating employees as whole individuals.
So how do these theories connect to AI adoption?
Well, the video argued that Theory X companies
Okay.
are likely to struggle with AI
Oh, really?
because they lack the flexibility
Right.
and trust needed for rapid innovation.
Okay.
AI requires experimentation, adaptability, willingness to learn from mistakes.
Which are all like core principles of Agile.
Exactly.
So it's like Agile is the bridge
I think that's a great way to put it.
between these management theories and the AI-powered future.
Yeah, Agile provides a framework for humans and AI to work together effectively,
That makes a lot of sense.
each playing to their strength.
But wait, where does Theory Z fit into all this?
Yeah.
It seems like that aligns pretty well with Agile values too, right?
You're right. Theory Z does have a lot of overlap.
Okay.
With Agile values like collaboration, continuous learning, building trust.
Right.
The video actually suggests that those values are essential for
Okay.
successful AI implementation.
So it sounds like companies with a Theory Y or a Theory Z management style
Right.
are going to have a much easier time adapting to AI.
They're going to have a much smoother transition, for sure.
Well, what about those that are stuck in that Theory X mindset?
Yeah.
Are they just doomed to fail in the AI era?
Not necessarily. The video offered some hope there, too.
Okay.
It suggested that even in the most rigid companies, there's always a chance for change.
So even if they're like deeply entrenched in that command and control mentality,
Right.
there's still hope for them to evolve.
Absolutely. It might start small, like introducing agile principles on a single team,
Okay.
or advocating for more decision-making power
Right.
at lower levels.
So it's about planting those seeds.
Yeah, you got to start somewhere.
Right. Small steps can lead to big changes.
Exactly.
So it sounds like building an AI-ready culture.
It is. Yeah.
It's more of a marathon than a sprint.
That's a good way to put it.
But where do we even begin with that marathon?
I think the key is understanding the core principles of Agile
Okay.
and how they can help us navigate an AI-powered future.
Right.
And thankfully, one of these videos did a fantastic job of
Okay.
breaking down 4 key Agile principles that are especially relevant in the age of AI.
I'm ready. Let's hear about these principles.
Okay.
How can they help us build a more human-centered work environment,
Yeah.
even as technology just keeps advancing at lightning speed?
Right. Well, let's start with the first one, building around motivated individuals.
Okay, that sounds promising. Let's dig into that one.
All right.
What does that actually mean in practice?
So this principle challenges the traditional top-down approach to work.
Okay.
It's about creating an environment where individuals feel valued empowered,
Right.
and motivated to contribute their best work.
So instead of micromanaging every detail,
Right.
it's about trusting your team,
Exactly.
giving them the autonomy to do what they do best.
Yeah. And that's especially crucial with AI work,
Okay.
which requires creativity,
Right.
problem solving, a willingness to experiment.
Yeah.
You can't really do that if you're constantly being told what to do.
Definitely not.
It's like trying to be creative with one hand tied behind your back.
Right. Exactly.
So yeah, autonomy and trust are key ingredients here.
Okay. So autonomy, and trust. Got it.
That brings us to the next principle,
Okay.
which might seem a bit counterintuitive at first.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
Face-to-face communication.
Wait, in a digital world dominated by AI,
I know, right?
how does that even work?
It's not about abandoning digital tools altogether.
Okay.
It's about using them strategically to enhance human connection, not replace it.
So like prioritizing video calls over emails, or
Right.
instant messages,
Yeah.
or making sure there's still space for those in-person interactions,
Right.
even if they're happening less frequently.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, AI is a tool. It's powerful,
Right.
but it can't replace the human element
Right.
of collaboration, empathy, understanding.
It's like you can have all the fancy AI-powered communication tools in the world,
Yeah,
but sometimes you just need to sit down with someone face-to-face
right.
and have a real conversation.
Exactly.
All right, well, speaking of real things, let's move on to the third principle,
All right.
working products as progress.
This is a good one.
This one really resonates with me.
Yeah,
Because it challenges that whole idea
right.
that progress is all about checking boxes on a to-do list.
Exactly.
It's about delivering tangible outcomes
Yes.
that create real value for customers.
It's about getting something out there quickly, learning from it,
Yeah.
iterating based on real-world feedback.
Which is perfect for the fast-paced world of AI.
It is, yeah.
Right, because the field is evolving so rapidly.
So rapidly.
You can't afford to spend months or years perfecting something in isolation.
Right. You got to get it out there,
Okay.
see how people use it,
Yeah.
adapt quickly.
And that could be really motivating for teams, too,
It
right?
can be, yeah.
When they see their work actually making a difference
Right.
in the world.
It gives them a sense of ownership and accomplishment.
It's not just about completing tasks.
Exactly.
It's about delivering value.
Yes.
Okay, I like that. What's the final principle?
The final principle is sustainable delivery,
Okay.
which is all about maintaining a consistent pace of work without burning out.
This is a big one,
It is, yeah.
especially in the age of AI, right?
Especially in the age of AI.
It's so easy to get caught up in that always-on mentality
Right.
and feel pressured to constantly be pushing the limits.
Yeah. And working all hours of the day and night.
Right, so how do we actually create that sustainable rhythm
Right.
when everything feels so fast-paced?
Well, this is where AI can actually help.
Really?
Yeah.
How so?
By automating those repetitive tasks,
Yeah.
streamlining processes, and freeing up human teams to focus on those higher value activities that
Okay.
require creativity,
Right.
critical thinking, problem solving.
So instead of replacing humans,
Right.
AI can actually help create
Yeah.
a more sustainable work environment.
That's the idea. It's about finding that balance
Uh-huh.
between human and machine, each playing to their strengths.
You know, it's funny.
Okay.
We started this conversation talking about how AI is going to change the future of work.
Right.
But what I'm hearing now is that it's really about how we choose to use AI.
I think that's a really important point.
Yeah, it's about making conscious decisions
Uh-huh.
to create a future of work that's both productive and fulfilling.
Yeah.
We're not just passive bystanders in this technological revolution.
Right.
We're active participants shaping the future of work.
That's a really insightful observation. Like,
Thanks.
AI is a tool, and like any tool, it can be used for good or for ill.
Right.
It's up to us as humans to decide
Yeah.
how we want to wield this incredible power.
And these 4 agile principles.
Yeah.
Building around motivated individuals,
Yeah.
face-to-face communication,
Right.
working products as progress,
Yeah.
and sustainable delivery.
Those are the 4.
They seem to provide like a solid foundation for doing just that.
I agree.
But how do we actually put these principles into practice?
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah, and how do we convince companies, especially those stuck in those old Theory X mindsets,
Right.
that this is the way forward?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question.
It sounds like a pretty daunting task.
It can be, yeah.
Where do we even begin?
Well, I think it starts with awareness. The more people understand these principles and how they connect to the bigger picture,
Right.
the more likely they are to embrace them.
So it's about education,
Uh-huh.
sharing these ideas,
Yeah.
kind of like what we're doing right now
Exactly.
with this deep dive into these videos you sent us.
Right.
It's about spreading the word.
Yeah, and it's not just about top-down mandates from leadership either.
Right.
It's about creating a grassroots movement,
Right.
empowering people at all levels to
Mhm.
advocate for this new way of thinking and working.
Because real change happens when people are genuinely excited about it,
That's right.
not when they're forced into it.
Exactly.
You can't just tell people to be more agile
Right.
or to embrace AI.
You have to show them the value.
Right? They need to see the value in it for themselves.
And that's where those early adopters come in, those Theory Y and Theory Z folks.
Right.
They can be the champions, the evangelists who inspire others and demonstrate the tangible benefits
Okay.
of Agile and AI working in harmony.
It's like those islanders who, instead of building fake airstrips,
Right.
actually figured out how to use the technology they had
Yeah.
to improve their lives.
I love that analogy.
Me too.
It's about understanding the principles, adapting them to your unique context,
Right.
and focusing on creating real value.
So it's not about blindly copying what others are doing.
It's not a one-size-fits-all approach.
Right. It's about taking these core principles
Yeah.
and finding creative ways to apply them to your specific situation.
And that's where things get really exciting, because when you empower people to think creatively and solve problems collaboratively, that's when the real innovation happens.
And that's what Agile's all about, isn't it?
It is.
It's not a rigid set of rules.
Right.
It's a framework for adaptability, continuous learning, delivering value in a rapidly changing world.
Exactly.
And AI can be a powerful tool for accelerating that process,
It can.
but only if we use it wisely.
That's the key.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener?
Yeah.
Where do you fit into this future of work?
Well, first, I'd encourage you to reflect on your own work environment.
Okay.
Do you see any signs of fake agile?
Right.
Are you feeling pressured to prioritize busyness over real value delivery?
And where do you think your company falls on that management theory spectrum? Are they Theory X, Theory Y, or Theory Z?
Once you have a better understanding of your current situation,
Right.
you can start thinking about how to apply these agile principles
Okay.
to your own work, even in small ways.
So, like, what kind of small ways are we talking about?
Well, maybe it's advocating for more autonomy on your team,
Okay.
or suggesting a new way to measure progress that focuses on outcomes instead of outputs.
Right.
Or maybe it's simply starting a conversation with your colleagues about these ideas. But the more we talk about Agile and AI, the more we normalize these concepts and create a space for change.
Because at the end of the day, the future of work isn't something that's happening to us.
Right.
It's something we're all creating together.
That's a really empowering way to think about.
It is, right.
Yeah.
We have a choice.
We do.
We can choose to embrace these new tools and ways of working, or we can resist them.
But the world is changing whether we like it or not.
That's true.
And Agile provides a framework for not just surviving, but thriving in this new world.
I like that.
So
Possible.
it's really about sparking that curiosity, and empowering people to become those active participants in shaping the future of work.
And sometimes those sparks come from, like, the most unexpected places.
They do.
Like, who would have thought
that
these classic management theories
Yeah.
could be so relevant today
I know.
in predicting a company's success with AI?
That's the beauty of learning, though, right?
Yeah.
Those aha moments that make you see the world in a whole new light.
Exactly. And these videos were full of those moments. We talked about the importance of shifting from that, like, fake Agile to the real deal Agile.
Right.
Busting that myth of the productivity lie,
Yes.
focusing on those 3 key priorities with the rule of 3. We even explored how AI can supercharge those Agile practices and how all those different management styles can really impact a company's ability to adapt
For sure.
to this new tech landscape.
It's a lot to think about.
It is, but we've covered a lot of ground.
We have.
But I think it all kind of points to a pretty clear message.
Yeah. What's that?
The future of work. It's going to be shaped by those who are willing to embrace change,
Absolutely.
adapt to new technologies, and prioritize human values.
Couldn't have been it better myself.
And Agile values like collaboration,
Yes.
continuous learning, delivering value.
Those are going to be more important than ever.
They are.
Those values provide a framework for navigating this complex and ever-evolving world of work.
It's true.
They help us stay focused on what truly matters.
What's that?
Creating a work environment that's both productive and fulfilling.
Right, for everyone involved.
Exactly.
So to kind of wrap things up, I want to go back to something you said earlier about how it all starts with awareness.
Right.
What's like one key takeaway you hope our listener walks away with today?
If I had to pick just one, let's say don't be afraid to challenge the status quo.
Ooh, I like.
If you see something that isn't working, speak up. If you have an idea for how to do things better, share it.
Because even those small changes can have a ripple effect.
They absolutely can. And remember, the future of work isn't predetermined. It's something we're all creating together.
That's right.
One conversation, one experiment, one small step at a time.
So go out there.
Yes.
Be curious.
Be bold.
Be bold and be the change you want to see in the world of work.
And if you want to dive deeper into any of the topics we discussed today, be sure to check out those source videos. We'll link them in the description.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.